Hello and welcome to Galata Plus. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Shabaash, Mithu, which has been directed by Srijit Mukherji and which stars Taapsee Pannu as Mithali Raj. Now quick, name 5 women cricketers. This question is put to a cricket-crazy common man in an early scene in this film, but it could actually be addressed to any one of us. This lack of identity, this lack of recognition, that's the center of Priya Evan's screenplay. हम भी तो इंडिया के लिए खेलते हैं, Mithali Raj says. We play for India too. You feel her frustration, especially given how celebrated male cricketers are. The other issue is sexism or patriarchy. At a press conference, a journalist asks Mithali who her favorite male cricketer is. She asks if he would ask a male cricketer a similar question about a favorite female cricketer. Plus, there are various physical and social aspects like menstruation or marriage pressure that make a sporting career so much more difficult for an Indian woman. But that's what makes success so much sweeter. The opening credits play over a montage of boys and men playing cricket. At the end, Mithali is surrounded by a sea of little girls who wear white and they want to be her. Now, Mithali Raj is the former Test and ODI captain of the women's national cricket team. She led India to the finals of the 2017 Women's Cricket World Cup, but what was she like as a person? This comes through beautifully in the film's early portions. There is a clever bit of misdirection that has a terrific payoff that even the most rebellious of girls can end up getting tamed by society. As a girl, Mithali is hardly a rebel, but the first time we see a glint of determination in her eyes is when she is challenged by a group of boys to play cricket. In other words, even as a child, this matter of gender kept bothering her. As Mithali, Taapsee Pannu gives a committed, internalized performance. Her look is mostly tentative. She hardly has any lines to speak. You keep waiting for her to explode with emotion. But this happens more on the ground where Mithali is a natural and where she is most at home. The first half is surprisingly good. I use the word surprising because the biopic is one of the most cliched of genres. Even if the individuals are hugely different in who they are and what their achievements are, their narrative arcs are very similar. Shabaash Mithali finds interesting, inventive ways to work around this limitation. Sometimes we get poetic visuals like a solitary sneaker surrounded by cricket balls or a scene that involves a pair of scissors. Sometimes we get sharply written scenes like the one after Mithali's best friend leaves, and sometimes we get big cinematic flourishes like the one where we see underprivileged women cricketers appear to play the game while still in their humble backgrounds, even though they are actually playing on a pitch. But even with all this, we get quite a bit of overstatement. Mithali's brother may have resented her success, but because he disappears soon after, we know little about the siblings. The overstatement becomes worse at the women's cricket board, where the scenes of Mithali's treatment resemble a prison drama where the veterans group up to torture the newbie. Wasn't there a single senior player who was curious about Mithali or tried to welcome her? The second half is much more generic and much more hastily told. We get a full-fledged song where Mithali mopes around, but we don't really get into her headspace. The story of a woman who experiences so many downs in life and compensates with so many ups while playing should have been much more unique. Still, the film works to an extent. Vijay Raj is wonderful as Mithali's coach. He made me wish I had a life coach like him. The female cricketers and indeed most of the characters are cast very well, except the painfully one-note men who dismiss the women's team. A scene involving a man at a bar is a particular low point. There are many writerly touches like how the word chamak or shine is used both in the context of a girl's name and as an indicator of fame. And even the big locker room speech before the World Cup loops back to the beginning. It has Mithali talking about being remembered. And that's what the film has been all along, being unrecognized and unremembered despite a number of achievements. You could say the same about our biopics. Many of them come along and you can see the effort, but they end up unrecognized and unremembered. The challenge of making a truly memorable biopic may be greater than anything Mithali Raj faced. And that's it about Shabaash Mithu. If you like this review, do subscribe to Galata Plus and see you soon at the movies.